Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Today, the topic we're going to be discussing is what made Jada Toys Street Fighter line in specific successful. So if you're out there planning on buying this line, if you have not yet started collecting this line and you do collect action figures, which I am sure a lot of us, probably 90% of collectors who collect action figures, dip their toe in the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 line and are already collecting them. But today what we're going to be discussing is what made this line so successful. Again, so if you haven't started collecting this line, this video here can help you out decide if you want to collect this line and why is it as success, what made it so successful. Other than just, carrying the Street Fighter title, why did they succeed? And other companies like NECA, Storm Arena, I'm talking about Storm Arena, Storm Collectibles, not Storm Arena. Two different things, because Storm Arena did have the license before, I think Jada did, but they were pricing them at a higher price, different scale. Yeah, I know the whole thing. If you haven't, that's a different discussion. But Storm had the license before Jada, so did NECA, and so did correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Jazz Wars or something like that. But yeah, today we're gonna be discussing why did Jada Toys broke the mold and succeeded more than these other companies have, and which made Storm reinvent themselves with Storm Arena. So stick around and let's get into it. So to start off, we're going to start with pricing. Pricing is key when it comes to a toy line succeeding and when it comes to a specific wave succeeding. Not only a toy line, because we've seen what McFarlane's done with the MK line, where prices may differ from other MK figures in the past. So we're just talking about prices within the Jada Street Fighter 2 line and how that also helped launch them to a kind of a mainstream, I think, because at only $30, and we're talking at retail stores or online, right? I think online it may say $24.99 plus shipping and tax, which comes up to like $32, and at in stores it's like $29.99. Either way, you're gonna pay like $32 standard for the figures. And at that price range, they are including, you are guaranteed to get extra set of hands. You're guaranteed to get a stand with each figure with an effect that represents their like special moves in the game. It could be a Hadouken, it could be the Lightning Crusher, it could be Chun-Li's kick effects. You know what I mean? Like each character will have, regardless of its standard edition or ultra, which we'll get into, you are getting their special effect. And my personal favorite, as you guys know, if you've been to my channel before and been subscribed for a long time, seeing the videos, you guys know I'm very anal when it comes to head sculpt. So we are getting a guaranteed head sculpt, an extra additional head sculpt for every single figure that has been released in the Street Fighter 2 line by Jada Toys, which I think is a main player when it comes to their success. Like, not only are you getting standard hands, which every company does, not only are you getting that, but you're getting something that companies do, but they don't follow through with every single figure they release, which is an extra head sculpt, a stand, and an effect that it's unique to its mold as well. Its own unique mold effect for each figure. The Hadouken fireball is different than Sagat's fireball. You know what I mean? So that's a trend that we see with maybe sometimes Legends does it a lot, like to include the same effects with Magneto as they would do with a Jubilee, which have two different powers. You guys seen that, the flame effects thing, the swirly thing, which is kind of lame. But I digress. We're sticking to Jada Toys, and again, at $30 for them to include these kind of effects and features and accessories with every single figure you get, it's a win, man. It's a big W. Again, This is the price rate of a Marvel Legends and a McFarlane figure. So, which are not including these kind of things, not all the time. But yeah, let's move along to the quality, true to likeness of each figure, and articulation. When it comes to the articulation of these figures, they are, again, superior in every way. They are lacking little to none articulation. However, there is one thing I would like Jada Toys to improve on, which will be the toe joint articulation, which was offered only in the Sagat figure, which is kind of their deluxe line figure. Also, Blanca did not carry that toe articulation, which to me, out of all the ones that they could have lack on, I think Blanca was one that they should have given toe articulation to, being the size and the massiveness of the figure. However, I will hopefully see that when it comes to their future, when it comes to their future toy lines with Storm, not with Storm, because Storm is doing this, but with the Alpha 3 line that Jada Toy is gonna do. I'm really hoping that we can see this toy joint articulation, because it's only definitely gonna help their toy line sell more. Honestly, any little tweaks that they can make, it's just gonna make them better and better. So hopefully we can start seeing toy joint articulation. I doubt they're gonna do it now in the final wave that they're still releasing with the Street Fighter 2 figures, but if they can incorporate that with the Alpha 3 line that is yet to release, I think it's gonna help them big time. Moving on to the likeness of each figure, this is another key thing that is helping this line succeed as it did. It's skyrocket. Like, the likeness to the figures, I know there's been very little complaints. The most complaint I've seen is them looking a little bit too cartoony. I'm fine the way they look, but that's, I think, the only complaint I've seen that has been out there. Other than that, I really think their likeness is really, really spot on and really great, especially compared to the NECA, to what NECA has done in the past, and especially to even Playmates did the 2 packs with the TMNT line, and that Ryu was not compared to this Ryu. I don't even know what that was, but at the end of the day, the likeness to these figures, when it comes to not only the face sculpt, I'm not even talking just about the face, how it looks, and both head sculpts too are, any head sculpt you're getting with them, for the most part. I think there's been 1 or 2 figures, I can't remember off of the top of my head. I think it was Evil Ryu who had 3 faces, 3 head sculpts, and 2 of them were very, very similar, which was very disappointing. But throughout the whole line, you're gonna get 2 distinguishedly different face sculpts with each figure you do get, which look very well with significantly different face expressions, which is very important. I do not like to have 2 very similar head sculpts. I think that's just lazy. So you do not see that with Jada Toys. So that's another big selling point when it comes to the secondary head sculpts that they do include. Not only that, but the colors on the on their outfits, like the Gi or Chun-Li's dress, or Blanca, just overall the color schemes, the color, like, it doesn't have a shine to it. Like, it's just spot on to what you see in the game, whether you're buying the Player 1 or the Player 2 edition, which we'll be discussing Player 2 editions in a whole separate video. But Player 2, Player 1, no matter which version you get of the figure, you're gonna get the spot on likeness to what you see in the game. The builtness as well, I can't even speak. The builtness as well, you will be seeing, like the muscle definition, the scale, as well as height, proportions. Like, these figures are spot on to what they're supposed to be. And again, it's another major key to why they're succeeding so well. They are doing their skills properly, the proportions properly. They are doing an excellent job for $30. And I know most of you are wondering the quality. Well, if you're not collecting this line or planning to get into this line, if I haven't sold you already on these figures, the quality, the feel to the figures, because I feel like this is something a lot of people don't talk about, is the feel of the figure. You know, how it looks is great. You know, how it articulates is great, but how does it feel? You know what I mean? Does it feel cheap? Does it feel like a bootleg figure? Are the joints tough? You know, are the joints very stiff like a NECA sometimes, or very loose like a NECA sometimes? I will say I've only had one issue with the with my Ken, and it was the joint in one of his hands. That's about it. It was way too loose. Other than that, it's been very spot on. I think I've heard or read a couple people saying that their limbs, like on the joints, some of them may be too tight or loose. I personally have not come into that issue, and mind you guys, I have ordered figures. Mind you guys, I have ordered these figures from retail stores like Walmart. I have ordered these figures from Amazon. I have ordered these figures from eBay, and I have also picked these figures up in the store. I've also ordered used, some of these figures used, as in not in box but complete, from eBay as well. So like, I have different variations from different sources, and I have not run into that issue. I one time ran into the issue when I bought a used lot, just to get I think it was Evil Ryu, and it came with a couple other figures. And those were kind of iffy. Like, some of them were a little bit loose, and one of them, I think it was Sagat, one of his legs were extremely tight. Now, I don't know if this was just due to the playability of the person, you know, with the wear and tear, or how long they've been in that pose. You know what I mean? Like, this can all affect the figure. It doesn't mean the figure actually came that way. So my personal experience from buying them brand new, and for the most part like used from eBay and stuff like that, I have not had an issue with that. So again, the feel and the quality of the figures, they do feel pretty damn premium for a $30 figure. Again, I wouldn't say as premium as a Jada Toys figure, as a Storm Arena figure. We're not going that far, but they're pretty damn premium for a line that did die-cast model cards for a very long time, and are now dipping their foot into a action figure line. On top of that, I forgot to mention one more thing with articulation that I felt would have made the figures very superior, and it just came to my mind as I was talking, is because I remember about Storm Arena, the drop down leg. You know what I mean? That the ability to have that drop down leg in the articulation, that's a game changer as well, and it does help with the poses. So if they could nail these kind of things, toe joint articulation and the drop down leg, pivot on the leg, I think they would be a real threat to a lot of companies, being that they're even mainstream and able to come by in any retail stores pretty much. You know what I mean? All right, guys, bear with me. There's a couple bit more stuff I wanted to talk about. I just want to give you guys all the information you should know about Jada Toys, whether you dip whether you dip your foot on the line or not. Just things you should keep in mind. Also, when they're offering their like premium ultra Street Fighter package for $45 at retail, if you're lucky to come by those figures at that price, you will be getting stage props. So with who was it? Violent Ken bringing the barrels, or I think the barrels, and then you got Ryu bringing like his background wooden banner backdrop and stuff like that. You know, those things are awesome, and they're coming in with these 2-packs. Well, sorry, they're coming in with the Ultra line pack, and not only are you getting that, but you're getting a battle damage one and a pretty much, you know, a solid one, so you can create the illusion of it breaking or it being broken when you're making photography or shorts, which is a huge game changer, to be honest. Stage props in general. I'm not sure why we're not seeing this a lot anymore with our figures, but I think if seeing companies incorporate stage props or just props from episodes of that, whatever that figure is based on, whatever episode that figure is, like a camera, a phone booth, stuff like this that were very popular, especially in animated stuff from the 90s, you know what I mean? Cartoons or comics. Like, if we start seeing this kind of stuff incorporated in these stage props or these props at only $15 more or $10 more for that premium additional package, is something that Jada Toys could succeed if they continue to do so. So I hope they continue to do this more often and even make 2-packs, which I discussed in the past. Well, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, Jada Toys is also offering premium lines for $10 more, which are bringing stage props, which we don't see in premium packages from Marvel Legends or even McFarlane. Stage props are really not a thing anymore. So hopefully this starts a trend where we can see more stage props, not only from Jada, but from all the toy lines, because like I said, we all can benefit from this. Overall, we can see the passion behind the project when it comes to Jada. We can see the passion that they have creating and making these figures and doing, we can just see that the team, the creative team, and whoever, is involved in the designs, you can tell they're really passionate and they're really true fans and want to see it succeed. And I know we can say this about every toy line that's making toys, right? We can say about Legends, we can say about McFarlane. I don't know, I'm not gonna speak on that, but we can say it on Jada Toys. We can really see that they are really passionate, and I don't know, again, it could be because they are finally dipping their feet into this action figure line other than die-cast cars, you know what I mean? They are finally, and it's hard to believe this is the same line that for so long did not Hot Wheel, but die-cast cars, for them to succeed at this rate. And, they changed the game. They really did change the game. They made Marvel Legends start releasing Gameverse stuff. SH Figure Art releasing Gameverse stuff. Like, they made it possible for all the golden era right now that's going on with the Marvel vs. Capcom type of action figure stuff going on. They made it possible by starting the Street Fighter stuff. They even made it possible for Storm collectibles to start a affordable Street Fighter toy line for the casual collector. You know what I mean? So it's crazy what Jada Toys has been doing, but they are truly passionate and you can see it. And I think this is why they're succeeding, whether it's because they have time to focus just on Street Fighter and not so many toy lines on like other toy companies like Hasbro, who has Legends, G.I. Joe and all that stuff, and McFarlane and his things, you know what I mean? So like, it could be that another reason why they're succeeding, because they're more focused on one line for the most part, other than the Mega Man stuff and a couple Cyberpunk stuff. You know what I mean? It could be that, but at the end of the day, they are only going to get better and better with all the new renditions that they continue to do. And they already have set the scale very high for a lot of toy lines, and they're not even at their best yet. So only great things to be expected by Jada Toys in the future, especially with the Alpha 3 line. Because if you think they're not gonna come back hard when it comes to that Storm Arena and them taking advantage and releasing their Alpha stuff first, if you don't think Jada Toys is gonna come back harder, maybe better, definitely better than what they did with Street Fighter 2, you know what I mean? So let's just leave it at that. This is a little kind of a little love letter to Jada Toys, if you know what I mean, if you want to say so, but also something for all of you guys to just, this is what Jada Toys is about, and I'm 100% with Jada Toys, and Also with Storm Arena, I like what they're doing, but this is for Jada Toys, and I'm not gonna start collecting these Street Fighter figures. They're too dope. Price is great. I hope you guys got all the information you need to start collecting your Jada Toys, because if you haven't yet, you should get the Street Fighter 2 Jada Toys figures. They're awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe now. And again, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.